Good morning, children. How are you all? Hope you are all doing good. Children, this is your social teacher. Welcome to the today's session, children. In this session, you are going to learn about History, Unit 3. The title of the lesson that is Rural Life and Society. Before moving the today's session of this slide, I want to give a small recap behalf of the part 1 of this lesson. Okay, children? Yes. In this lesson, at the part 1, you have learned about introduction, the land revenue policy under the Britishers. Okay. Under that introduction, you have known about the Indian economy, which was predominantly dominated by agrarian economy. And even though the peoples were dependent to the industries like textiles, sugar, oil, industries, etc. Okay. The British government in India did not adopt a pro-Indian agriculture, and they have followed the new policy as known as land revenue policy. And later they have introduced that new policies under the land revenue collection, such as permanent settlement, the Mahalwari settlement, and the Rayatwari systems. So along with these systems, the Britishers were exploited the economy of Indian peasants. Okay, children? Yes, that you have learned as an introduction in this lesson. Under the land revenue policy, the Britishers introduced mainly 3 types of land revenue policies, such as already have known well about that permanent settlement, Rayatwari system, Mahalwari system. Permanent settlement is introduced by Lord Cornwallis, the Governor General of British, and Rayatwari system is introduced by Thomas Munro, that you have learned about him also in the last session. And afterwards, Mahalwari system. Next we are going to know about the Mahalwari system. Under this system, what are all the changes that have given by Lord William Bentinck, that is you are going to be known in this session. Okay, children? And next forthcoming of the session. Okay, under the permanent settlement, that you have learned about Robert Clive, who have obtained the Diwan of Thorn next to the Diwan of Bengal, and afterwards Hastings changed it from the collection of revenue, land revenue, from annual to quinquennial. This two also you have known. Okay, children? And next, the Zamindari system is also called in various names such as Zagirdari, Malguzari, Bisvedari, etc. Salient features of the permanent settlement means here you have known a lot about the Zamindars, how they have recognized by the Britishers. Zamindars are act as a agent of the government. That means here the government is known as British. Okay, children? Such as, and even though you have known about the merits and demerits of the permanent settlement too. The merits such as the Zamindars became the owner of the land, the Zamindars were made free from the responsibility of providing justice, and Zamindars remained faithful to the British government. Okay, the system secured a fixed and stable income for the British government. These are all the merits under permanent settlement that you have known, understand in the previous session. Okay, children? Yes, next a small recall about demerits of the permanent settlement. That is, the British government had no direct contact with the cultivators. The rights of the cultivators were ignored, and they were left at the mercy of the Zamindars. The peasants were also treated as serfs. This system made the Zamindars lethargic and luxurious life. Okay, children? Yes, I am giving here now a small recall about the past class. Okay, yes, many conflicts between the Zamindars and the peasants arose in rural Bengal. Okay, yes, and the next Rayatwari system, this system is introduced by Thomas Munro, and it was helped by another one British Governor General. He is known as Captain Reed in the year 1820. The major areas where undertook this Rayatwari system is especially in Madras, Bombay, parts of Assam and Coorg. Okay, children? Yes, and here under this system, the rents were to be periodically revised. Generally after 20 to 30 years, the position of the cultivators became more secure during the period of Thomas Munro. This too also you have learned in last class. In the system, the settlement was made between the government and the ryots. Okay, ryots means here refer as peasants. In fact, the government later claimed that the land revenue was rent and not a tax. Okay, children? Yes, that you have learned. And that last class I have completed here the salient features of the Mahalwari system. That means the revenue settlements was done directly by the ryots. They were directly deal along with whom? The Britishers. And the measurement of the field and an estimate of the produce were calculated as a under the name of survey, okay, by the Britishers. And next, the government fixed the demand at 45% to 55% of the produce. Okay, this as to what? As to calculated the land revenue system. Okay, next, this is our new slide which that you are going to learn from here. Okay, children? Yes, this is our today's session. It's going to start right from here, children. See here, effects of the Mahalwari system. You know about well, Mahalwari means what? Rayat. Rayat means an Indian peasant is referred as Rayat, or we can say as tenant or farmers who are known as Rayat. So, this as belonging to, as depend to this farmers, the settlement which is introduced by whom? Mahalwari system introduced by Thomas Munro. Okay, yes. In most areas the land revenue were fixed and was excessive. Under this system the land revenues were fixed one, not at all. It can be changed in future itself, so they are fixed by the British government. Here the ryots were hardly left with bare maintenance. They are very strictly maintained under by the rules of Britishers. And under this system the government exploited the farmers instead of zamindars. Here you have to be notified that the farmers were exploited. They have no cheated as a lot and many more by the Britishers. So in the most areas the land revenue are fixed and it is excessive. The ryots were hardly left and bare maintenance even in the best season. That means what? The season, the produce which are after the harvesting, they have earned a lot of profit from their land, but still they are be disturbance lot by the Britishers. So this is the situation which were happened to our Indian farmers. Okay, children? Yes, these are all the effects which took places in the Mahalwari settlement. And secondly, under the system, government exploited the farmers instead of zamindars. Here in the permanent settlement, zamindars were directly deal with the Indian farmers, but under the Mahalwari system zamindars have no role to play. So directly the relationship between peasants and the government were a very direct relationship in where? In a Mahalwari settlement. So this was happened as a name of effects. Okay, children? And see now Mahalwari system. Here this system is also known as what? The land revenue new system. Under this system, too, the land revenue system is modified by the Britishers. What the meaning of Mahalwari? The word Mahalwari is derived from, see, the word Mahalwari is derived from the Hindi word. It's known as Mahal, M-A-H-A-L, Mahal, which means house, district, neighborhood or quarter. We can take as an example. Under the system of land revenue acted as the chief source of income of the Britishers. Whose source is here? The source of income of whom? It's belonged to the British government. Land was one of the most important source of income for the Britishers. Thus, they used to land to control their entire revenue system and strengthening their economic condition in whole through our India. So far, this is the meaning of Mahalwari system. Okay, who introduced this system in India? It is a brainchild. It is an idea of whom? A great general of Britisher. He is known as Holt Mackenzie. Okay, yes, the modified version of the zamindari. Modified means what? At a new version. It is one of a duplicate, like I said, as a same as to the permanent settlement. It is a modified version of zamindari settlement. Zamindari settlement is also known as what the name? Permanent settlement. Okay, which is introduced in the Ganga Valley, that is especially in the north side of India, northeast side. Okay, children. And next, the northwest province, central India and Punjab were followed this system. Which system? Mahalwari System. In which year? In the year 1822. And Lord William Bentinck was to suggest radical changes. He recommended to create radical changes in the Mahalwari system under the guidance he took from whom? From the great Governor General of British. He is known as Robert Martin's Bird in the year 1833. Okay, yes. So assessment of revenue was to be made on the basis of mahal or village. Okay, children, yes. You see here that assessment, the meaning already I have given to you in a last session itself. Once again I am repeating the meaning of assessment. Assessment is the process of gathering and discussing information from multiple and diverse sources in order to develop okay, in order to develop a deep understanding of what that there's no, especially we can take the example of students, that is students know, understand and can do with their knowledge as a result of their education and the experience is known as, what is the meaning about the assessment. Okay, children, yes. Here the assessment of revenue was taken behalf of what? Behalf of the mahal or village revenue, especially the land revenue. Okay, children, next see, he is a person, a Lord Governor General of British. His name is William Bentinck, Lord. Okay, Lord William Bentinck, who introduced what is it? The supportive idea about which one? The supportive idea about Mahalwari system. Okay, children, yes. And he is a main creator of, that is what, the Mahalwari system too. Okay, yes. And next see, all the proprietors. Proprietors means owners. The owners of the mahal were severally or jointly responsible for the payment of the revenue. Especially the proprietors are the responsible for what? For the payment of the land revenue. And initially the state share first of all the fixed 2/3 of the gross produce. In starting, they have started to share the produce 2/3, and out of the 3, the 2 sections were shared by the Britishers, and only one section of the one part of the produce were took as their own. Own means what? Own means home. That is a tenants, or we can say as the peasants produce as their share. Okay, Bentinck reduces to 50%, but when initially in the starting period it was fixed as a 2/3, but later Bentinck were interfere in this one, and afterwards he gave a small revised thing in a matter of land revenue collection. That means he reduced it to 50%, 50-50. Out of the 100 what that produces comes out, that 50% have to given as a part of a share of what? A share of profit to the Britishers, and remaining 50 the peasants should have to give their self. Okay, yes. The village as a whole through its headman or a Lambada was required to pay the revenue. Who is in charge to collect this revenue? The revenue was collected by the headman, or otherwise he is known as a name of Lambadar. In the word meaning in Punjab, that means Punjabi language, it is called as, is a title. I am giving the meaning about this Lambadar. Okay, children, you just take carefully. It is a title in India and Pakistan which applies to powerful families of Jamindars. It's given, this name is given to a powerful family members who are belong to where? To the Pakistan and Indian region, okay, of the village or towns, or okay, or in towns or towns, a state privileged status which is hereditary and has wide-ranging governmental powers is known as Lambada. Okay, they are the responsible for what? They are responsible for collecting the revenue from the peasants and have to be hand over it to whom? It hand over to the Britishers. Okay, the officials who are belong to the government of British. And this system was first adopted in which places? Especially in India, two places. One is Agra, another one is Awadh. Okay, it is in North India. And later other parts were also followed this type of system, that is especially Mahalwari System in the place such as union provinces as a name of taxation. Okay, tax means what? It is a type of amount which is levied by the government upon to whom? Upon the public is called as tax. Okay, yes, quite pro quo, without any any gain from the government. The public have to submitted the amount as a name of tax is called as taxation. Okay, yes, it's a voluntary payment to the government by whom? By the public is called as taxation. Okay, children, and okay, and next see here the salient features of Mahalwari system. The Lambadar, here the Lambadar, you know about the meaning. Okay, the Lambadar acted as intermediaries between the government and the villagers. What is the meaning of intermediaries? That is the relation connectors who gave the connection of relation to transact the communication in between the government and the villagers. And it was a village wise assessment. This assessment is depend to which side? The area of rural area, and one person could hold a number of villages. Okay, here the permission is granted to any person who can be hold a number of villages as his own. He too also have to settle the land revenue as a name of tax, land tax to the government. The village community was the owner of the village common land. Here the village community was the owner, the entire that is owner to the entire village common land. The village land belonged to the village community, especially it is not to be as a single person's property. This village as wholly belong to whole the entire community. Okay, children, yes. And listen, effects of Mahalwari. And here the Mahalwari system, what are all the effect has been given means, here first of all, as taking as the introduction of the Mahalwari system, the mainly the Lambadar are the powerful families of zamindar person were enjoyed privileges. Okay, were enjoyed privileges. Privileges means what? A special right or advantage that only one person or group has enjoyed. It is called as privileges, which was misused for their self-interest, for their own interest, for their own luxurious life. The Lambadar were misused the earning of peasants. Okay, as during the period of Mahalwari system. Okay, the system brought no benefit to the cultivators. There is nothing at all, zero benefit to the cultivators. It is only given a gain to the two persons. One is Lambadar, another one is to the British government. And it was a modified version of Zamindar system and benefited the upper class only in the villages. Because this is another one duplicate of the act of whom's, that the system of permanent settlement system. So far this system is only given a beneficial to whom? Beneficial to the upper class in the villages. Upper class means what? Rich class people in the villages, such as landlords, zamindars, etc. Okay, children, yes. And the next, see here, impact of the British land revenue system. What happened after the Britishers introduced the land revenue system as newly under the three category? One is permanent settlement, another one is Rayatwari system, and the next one is Mahalwari system. There are some impacts, okay, of the British land revenue system upon the upon to the cultivators especially. That means a common future. See, here about that, about the first line. A common features of all the settlements was the assessment and the maximized income from land. So it resulted, given what? It resulted in the increasing land sales and dispossession. Okay. Yes, afterwards there is no any gain from the land. So on seeing of this, the peasants were started to dispose their land as a name of sales, okay, to the rich persons, because without any benefit, what a purpose that they have to behold the entire land, okay, as a name of loss. So for that, no, they decided to sales and dispossession, okay. Yes, and due to the heavy burden of tax, peasants were left out all their land as a name of sold, okay, to the rich persons. Okay, the peasants were overburdened with the taxation. Because of taxation, they have decided this, they have take the decision, okay, due to the tax burden and the famines. Even though during this period, famines in general, the people suffered in poverty and burdened with the debts. Debt means what? Though one person who is getting money as a borrowing for the name of interest is called as debt children here. They had to seek the money lenders. Money lenders means what? The person who are lended money as a money to another one person who needs as the gain of, as the expectation of interest, some extra money with that actual money is called as money lenders. Okay, yes. So they had to seek the money lenders who became rich and acquired land from the peasants. The money lenders were waited for a right time to be what? To be occupied the land from the poor peasants. When they have got the loan from the money lenders, at the due date they are unable to pay the repay the amount. Means here the money lenders were occupied the land, entire land from the poor persons, okay, along with the actual money plus interest money. Okay, so for this the money lenders and zamindars were ruined the poor peasants. The stability and the continuity of the Indian villages was shaken. Because of this, behalf of the zamindars and money lenders, the entire shape of the Indian villages were shaken. It's unstructured. It took a part of unstructured, because here who hidden lot? Here the peasants were hidden lord, because of the method of the land revenue system introduced by the Britishers, especially what? The Zamindari system and Raitwari system and Mahalwari system. And the next one is cottage industries disappeared on account of the import of British goods dependent to money lenders. And another one main impact is took places behalf of the Britishers in India. What means the cottage industries were vanished. Vanished means what? Disappeared. They can't able to be as pick up more in India because of the account of the imported of British goods. What that the goods are produced in the native of Europeans, that goods were sold in our country as a price of very cheap. So on saying of the in front of the very cheap price the goods is compared to the Indian goods, so the British goods were sold as lot. Okay children, so for the cottage industries were disappeared, and this too also dependent to the money lenders. Customs replaced the new systems, and the oral traditional customs were replaced behalf of the introduced of Britishers new new practice, introduced a new apparatus, example law and codes. Okay, during the early period the law and code which were all took part and take over by our native rulers. Here the law and codes were given by, and decision were taken only through by the Indian rulers. But after the arrival of the Britishers, the new introduction of new customs were followed in India as a name of judicial, that is law and code. Okay children, yes, next see here Peasants Revolt. Next you are going to know about Peasants Revolt. Peasants means you known as very well, it is just as referred to the farmers. Okay, yes, and here the revolts means the persons who are all against to be get fought for their rights. which is occupied by, captured by whom? Captured by the foreigners. So it is called as, here the peasants were created the revolts against to whom? Against to the foreign occupiers. Here occupiers who are referred to, the Britishers were occupied our Indian lands, okay, Indian land. So for that, peasants were against to the rule of Britishers. The British rule in India brought about many changes, of course, from past that is no past sessions that you have learned from History Unit 1, Unit 2, and yes, Unit 2 has a lot about the the cruel rule of Britishers, who given a lot of changes in their rule. That means especially in the agrarian system, they have given a lot of changes, okay, which disturb a lot of our Indian peasants. The ownership of the land was conferred on zamindars. First of all, the benefit goes to the hands of the Indian, especially the one section of people is called as zamindars. And next, they tried to extract as much as they could from the cultivators of land. Here, the main the main motto of the zamindar is what? To be as extract, that is no gain a lot from the cultivators of Indian cultivators, especially from their land. Okay, the life of the peasants were extremely miserable, untold. What is no poverty is untold. It is no very suffering period of the Indian peasants. Okay, so this is called very unhappy. During this, under the rule of Britishers, the Indian peasants were extremely miserable. Miserable means very unhappy. So the various movements and uprising during the 19th and 20th centuries which took places as against to the British rule, to be what? To be getted free from the freedom from whom? Freedom from the Britishers. Okay, so these are all the main motto of what? The peasants revolt. So especially these 2 centuries were unforgettable centuries, that is 19th and 20th centuries, where that the Indian history has met a lot of revolts, as especially a name of peasant revolts, okay, in a various names. Okay children, like as a Santhal revolts, and afterwards a revolt, Pabna revolt, Indigo revolt, etc. Okay children, yes, next you are going to be learn about the Santhal Rebellion. Okay, yes, revolt. The first this rebellion took place, the Santhal Rebellion took place in the year 1855 to 1856. Okay children, yes, what is the meaning of Santhal? Santhal means is nothing but a member of a large indigenous group living mainly in eastern India is known as what? Santhal. Okay children, yes. And rebellion means what? Rebellion means is nothing but an accusation when some of the people in a country try to change the government. Here, which government they want to try to change? The British government. Okay, change the government using violence is known as Santhal. Okay children, yes. See here, still more information regarding Santhal. The Santhal Rebellion, commonly known as Santhal Hool, H-O-O-L, Hool we can say as, was a rebellion in present day. The Santhal Rebellion took place in a place of Jharkhand in India, especially in eastern India children. Okay, I am giving a definition regarding this Santhal Rebellion. Okay children, yes, take the note of this. And next, that is in the eastern India against both the British colonial authority and zamindar system by the Santhal people. The people who lived as near to the part of eastern part of India were against to whom? Were against to the British colonial authority, and afterwards especially their zamindar system. So for this Santhal Rebellion took places in which year? In the year of 1855-56. The land near the hills of Rajmahal in Bihar was cultivated by the Santhal. Santhal's people were most overly utilized the land of Rajmahal, the land near to the hill of Rajmahal. It is in the state of Bihar, which were used as a cultivated land by this persons. Okay, by this peasants also we can say. The landlords and moneylenders from the cities took advantage of their ignorance. Okay, the landlords and especially the moneylenders were taken over advantages, as in the side of whom? The side of the ignorance peasants of which state? The Bihar state. Okay, and began grabbing their lands. Okay, children. Yes, grab means what? Grabbing means here, about this word I'm going to give a meaning regarding this. Grab means to take something with a sudden movement. Okay, something as a sudden movement. From whom? The lands were occupied suddenly from the landowners by the landlords and moneylenders. Okay, children. Yes. That's also, children. Today's session is going to be end from this slide itself, children. Okay. Yes. Children, this week that your homework is not submitted promptly, so do your homework regularly, what it is given by our school. Okay, take care, children. Bye.